right? They've all mentioned these different aspects. Now, the main point, though, is the command, which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't mention the name of the tree, because the command is what is important. Don't come near this tree, because the command, it wasn't the fact of the type of tree. Because if you read the opening chapters of Genesis, they were told not to eat from, quote, the tree of good knowledge of good and evil. So in the opening chapters of Genesis, Adam and Hawa alayhim salam are walking in the paradise stark naked, but don't know that they're stark naked. In the Qur'an it's listed they've got clothes. Bible's mentioned they're stark naked, and they're told don't eat from this tree, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So they eat from the tree, and once they eat from it, they realize what? We're naked. So they make clothes to cover themselves. Right? Then an angel's brought with a fiery sword, and they're expelled from there. And according to what's mentioned there is, quote, woman, because of what you have done, you shall be greatly increased in your labor pains. So next time you have a difficult birth, you know it's because you're handing out fruit to the wrong people. And Adam is told that he's going to have the bristly beard of his cheeks because you ate from it. So this is why you have difficult labors, because you're eating that fruit and handing it out to your husband. And the husband, the reason why you're working so hard like a dog day and night and you've got a big fuzzy beard is because you ate when the woman gave it to you. So always check your food when your wives give it to you, and wives never give your men food. This is the type of understanding that's been given to us. But there's a second portion which is also equally disturbing regarding how knowledge is perceived. And it set the tone for how Christian civilization rolled forward. It stated that, quote, an angel with a flaming sword was kept to stand guard over the paradise in their Bible. And according to this, their God says, quote, now the man has become like one of us, having knowledge of good and evil. Let us prevent him from eating from the tree of immortality. What? It's not in the quote, that's me. But it's shocking though. So if you look at how Christian Europe viewed knowledge, it took them to destroy the institution of the church to break free from that fear of knowledge in order to move forward with the secularism and everything that you now see. The technological advancements took place not because of Christianity. They had to destroy and get rid of that to move forward because there was such a deep fear of knowledge. And every now and then, that deep fear of knowledge, it comes back. Even societies that we live in that are supposed to be really super secular, there's this really shameful feeling, even among married people, about sex. There's this feeling of shame. And about knowledge. So when people find out about something new, they immediately try to castigate it or not know about it. They choose to be willfully ignorant. Ignorance is bliss. But if you look at the Muslims, the command in the ayah has nothing to do with don't eat from the tree of knowledge, look out. It has to do with don't go to this tree. That's the point. Obedience. So Muslim civilization rolls through with what? Iqra, read. It's the first statement in the Qur'an that was revealed. Muslims are rolling forward to civilization with Iqra, read. And ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul, obey Allah and obey the messenger. They're rolling forward to civilization with this. That's the difference. So when you study Christianity and you think, how come it never sort of peaked? There was sort of a continuous trough. Because there was this constant battle between scientists, some of whom had studied in Spain, in places like Valencia and other places, and came back, got killed, or got tortured to death, or got banished, and between a burgeoning church that had a deep dislike for knowledge, because they were scared to death of it from the first book of their Bible. So you need to understand that. It's very important. Imam Ibn Al-Jawzi, rahimahullah, he says, quote, then Allah says, so you shall most assuredly be from among the oppressors. Al-Anbari said, Dhulm is being made made reference to in this ayah. And dhulm means to place something in other than its place. So, a man oppresses his riding mount when he drinks its nectar before its full cream comes to fruition. Did not the poet say, "The bearer of truth cannot teach me anything of his complaints? Indeed, the darkness given is in my darkness, and it was done on purpose, and he has his reward that's to come to him." Yes, dhulm is in reference to what was used in this ayah. Dhulm can often mean when something becomes darkened. For example, when we say the valleys become dark, or the places become dark because one can't reach it, or the shadows have reached it, so we can't see what's in there. Someone may ask, what is the wisdom in specifying that tree with the prohibition of coming near it? The answer to your question is that it is a test from Allah according to what He has willed. Abu al-Aliyah has said, this is one of the clear signs, this tree being mentioned as a way of obedience. It's one of the clear signs mentioned as a tree from the trees of the paradise. So, when it was mentioned that he ate from it, it was said, so you now need to go to the house which it will be better for you to be therein. Then Allah has said, فَأَزَلَّهُمَا الشَّيْطَانُ عَنْهَا فَأَخْرَجُهُمَا مِمَّا كَانَا فِيهِ وَقُلْنَا اهْبِطُوا بَعْضُكُمْ لِبَعْضٍ عَدُوٌّ وَلَكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مُسْتَقَرٌّ وَمَتَاعٌ إِلَى حِينٍ. And so Shaitan caused them both to slip from there, and they were expelled from where they had previously been therein. So this slipping referred to means that they stumbled in their steps. Hamza often reads this passage as فَأَزَالَهُمَا, intending that they moved from there. Abu Ali al-Farisi says that the meaning of it, you should live, you and your wife, in the paradise, meaning that that is your fixed abode for a time. It is your fixed abode for a time that shall change at one point. And the shaitan mentioned here is Iblis. He is the one being made reference. And when it states that shaitan caused them to slip from it, the ha in this ayah, there are 3 points referring to the it. One is that it's referring to the paradise. One is that it is referring to obedience. And 3 is it's referring to the tree. So it is as if it's stating that he caused them to fall a footstep from the tree when they were going up to it. And this is how they slipped from it. But the slippage mentioned in this ayah is of 3 points. That how he was able to do this is, one, did he enter into the paradise with them? Or, as someone said in one of the traditions of Bani Israel, that it was a snake. As quoted from Ibn Abbas and As-Sudai. Secondly is that he waited at the door of the paradise and called them, stated by Al-Hasan. Thirdly is that he whispered to them, and something came into themselves regarding this matter without, it had nothing to do with any speech that they heard or vision that they saw. It was a whispering to them, as stated by Ishaq. But this is the furthest away position. And Az-Zujaj said that he spoke to both of them and then swore to them. And this is why what occurred. Close quote. What the Imam is referring to here is an ayah. He quotes Surah Al-Araf, the 7th Surah, ayah 21. وَقَاسَمَهُمَا. He swore by Allah to both of them. He swore by Allah to both of them. Now remember, Adam and Hawa alayhim as-salam, they'd never known anyone to swear by Allah and lie. For us, that's quite common. People swear by Allah constantly and lie. People swear by Allah that the pizza at this restaurant's good. I swear by Allah my lunch is good. I swear by Allah my brother's home. I swear by Allah. And sometimes they use expressions, Wallahi, Tallahi, Billahi, Uqsimu Billah, or the shortened Qasam, right? All of those, when you swear by Allah, you are making a binding oath upon yourself. If you are swearing by Allah that your cousin is home and he's not home, you have now broken an oath, in which case you must fast for 3 days to remove that oath from yourself. Well, what if I didn't know at the time of the swear? Well, figure out how many swears there were, combine them together, and fast for 3 days and intend that. But if you have a problem with taking Allah's name lightly, that is a dangerous thing moving forward. And it's a common thing. You hear it more among the Arabs, but you hear it some among other nationalities and nations as well. They're swearing. I swear by Allah this. I swear. Or sometimes they just cut it down. I swear. I swear on my children's lives. I swear on my grandmother's grave. Well, that's fine if she's already dead. But some people swear on their children. Okay, we found out it's not true. What do we do with your kids? You see, people swear by Allah or they swear by other things when really it's not a good idea. Because you let your yes be yes and your no be no. And the only time swearing comes is in a court of Shara, in the Sharia law court where you're brought forward. And then you swear under penalty of the curse of Allah or penalty of death that, yes, I definitely saw this. Yeah, people swearing by Allah that they saw someone do something, or they're swearing by Allah they saw their favorite footballer or person on television. What are you doing? They swear by Allah, yes, this person, he definitely has this score. They swear by Allah, the person has that score. There were two people arguing one day about basketball. One of them swore by Allah that this person had this particular score in his career. I just, for obviously my own curiosity, checked to find out and found out actually he didn't have that score. So now he sweared by Allah, he's proved a liar, and now he's got to fast 3 days. Well, inna Allah ghafur rahim, indeed Allah is forgiving and merciful. Yes, but he's also shadid al-iqab, swift in punishment, sari' al-hisab, quick to take account, ahkim al-hakimin, the most judicious of the law-giving judges, al-Quddus, the most holy, Alad al-Khisam, the one who ends all disputes and destroys and vanquishes those who try to oppose his name. It's all those things. So don't hide behind names. It's very important. It's very dangerous. So that's why one of the reasons why Shaitan was able to use the methods that he used was he did something that people often assume wouldn't happen, which is he swore by Allah and then lied. Most people, when you mean honest people, they swear by Allah. Oh, this person, he prays, he fasts. He wouldn't lie. He wouldn't do that. They assume that it's true. Imam Ibn Al-Jawzi rahimahullah says, quote, the scholars differ regarding discussing the disobedience of Adam alayhi salam regarding eating from the tree. Some people say that he was forbidden from the actual tree itself, but he only ate from the branches. Whereas others say that he interpreted the command as being one of dislike, while it was actually a command of impermissibility. Close quote. What's being referred to is because of the doctrine of the understanding that prophets are infallible. Kullu nabiyyin ma'asum. Every prophet is infallible. How do we understand when we read this passage then? The scholars understand that the Prophet Adam alayhi salam, when Allah told him not to come near the tree, he understood not to eat from the tree, but took from its branches, or the other area around it, its fruit, but not from the tree itself. Some of the scholars said that his understanding was that the command given, because sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will say in the Qur'an, or He'll say in the Sunnah, don't do such and such. And it will mean, like in the Sunnah or the Qur'an, it will mean that something is Sunnah and not Fard.